Good evening once again, future and fellow researchers, and welcome to the second installment of the exciting Igniting Research Passion series, hosted by the IEEE Women in Engineering Student Branch Affinity Group of the University of Jaffna. On this lovely evening, we will be diving into the topic Smart Connections, Unveiling the Future at the Crossroads of IoT and AI. With the recent popularity of AI in computer science, the subject known as IoT has also not been a stranger to transforming with it. With the integration of AI, operations such as data analysis, resource management, and automation in existing IoT applications have seen significant improvements over the years. And as a researcher, it's important to understand this upcoming concept of AIoT and how much potential and improvement it serves in the AI future. Our esteemed speaker for today, Dr. Roshan Ragel, is a professor of computer engineering at the University of Peradeniya and has been since October 2017. With over 15 years of postdoctoral teaching experience, he has mentored many students on various computer science and engineering fields, including the subject of IoT, and is also an active researcher and consultant with multiple publications, awards, and certifications in his various areas of interest. With his impressive background experience and skill in artificial intelligence and Internet of Things, he's the perfect speaker to handle the topic of discussion today. And without further ado, we hand over the session to you, Professor.
Thank you very much and good evening. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.
Isn't life about what we experience, what we smell,
Yes, dragon fruits are low in sugar.
what we hear,
Hey, what should I get him? 我在这里该点什么呢？
what we see, you know? We build more memories,
What are some fun things to do nearby?
share more moments,
Songs from the last time we were here.
we rediscover our senses. What if devices weren't the experience?
Lucy called and her flight is at 7 a.m.
Lucy, I'm on my way. What if life was?
AI King.
Good evening. I was following on this AI pin journey for about a year now, and it's in the market. So that's an IoT device, not just an IoT device, but also something that has AI in it. As the name says, AI pin. So this is where we are heading with IoT and AI. Thank you for the opportunity. Once again, good evening. And I'm going to talk about smart connections. IoT being the connections, AI being smart. So this is what I'm going to cover today, and then give you some time to discuss the questions that you have and so on. So I'll quickly go through what IoT is and what AI for IoT is. And then I'll spend some time talking about the research work that we are doing in this area, particularly targeting the audience who are interested in doing or starting research in this area, so that you can get some idea. And then I'll dive into the new trends, where we are heading, what more we can do, And towards the end, I'll also talk a little about generative AI, the new topic of this time and era. So as it was already introduced, Internet of Things or Internet of Things, so IoT, is not a very new term. It follows the term Internet. So Internet, as you all know, was invented or derived for connecting people. So we wanted to connect people together, obviously through devices, but we want to connect one person to another or one group to another and so on. So right now we are connected through Internet. We all people, you and me, we are connected through Internet. So that's Internet. So Internet of Things is using the same media, but can devices connect to each other? Can devices talk to each other? Can things talk to each other and communicate with each other to obviously to help human being and other being? So that's the idea of Internet of Things, things that connect to each other, talk to each other to do things better. In terms of technology, IoT or Internet of Things is considered one of the most highly disruptive technology of this age. Rank 3 on this graph, right below mobile internet and automation of knowledge work. So as per this graph, Internet of Things is supposed to have economical potential of several, or at least 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 trillion dollars. And enterprise Internet of Things market, enterprise meaning in the industrial sector, is expected to grow up to about $500 billion within the next couple of years. So therefore, there's a lot. By the way, this enterprise IoT market is only talking about the middle level IoT devices, not the smaller end devices like actuators and sensors. We'll come to that next level. So it's about $500 billion market. So that's again really big and having a lot of potential in terms of what we can do with it. So that is IoT. And then AI, as you know, has grown, started way back, now about 70 years ago, the idea. And since then have grown a lot. At the beginning, it used to be more of a research area and mostly we dreaming what we can do in the future with it. And then we got into AI with data. So data, machine learning came into picture. So the machine learning part of AI changed the way how data is processed. So that's the start and AI is. And then now with the amount of data and new type of machine learning, things like deep neural network or deep learning, the ideas like generative AI is taking over. So AI and IoT come together in a bigger way in the concept of industrial revolutions or industry and with a number. So the present industrial revolution or industry IR, industrial revolution number is 4. And it is expected the number 5 is on its way. If you just quickly go through the changes that has happened to human civilization, the way how we live over industrial revolution, there are big changes. Starting from how machines or things with the steam power, how industry changed from agriculture to machines, from there to electricity, industrial revolution, industry 2.0, industrial revolution, second industrial revolution, and from second to third automation. So particularly things like computers and electronics. And then on top of it, the fourth one, it's no longer just automating the machines that we have, but having smaller sensors and actuators or machines and eyes or sensors all over the place. So that's a 4. With Industrial Revolution 4, something that we are also seeing is a lot of data from every nook and corner are being collected. So with this data, we can see previous patterns, and therefore machine learning is good at looking at these patterns and coming up with the future or prediction for the future. And now with the generation or generating metric content and others for the future. So that's where industrial revolution or industry 4 and now to be 5 is connected to connected through both IoT and AI. So 5 is considered to be like the next one, like I said, where the data and therefore AI, and then the IoT that gives all this data to the AI are connected together. So how AI can influence the world? So here are two possible ways. One, the usual all this while, if you go and watch the movies on intelligent being, things like intelligent machines particularly, you would mostly see humanoid robots or some form of robots, they becoming intelligent. So that's one way where we envision machines to be like us, like human, and then they help us do work, maybe at one point take over. But on the other side, there is another possibility where, like I explained a little while ago, the smaller sensors and actuators, the things that control these control devices, they are everywhere, and then they sense, and therefore they collect data, and they use this data to make decisions, and these decisions can be used to control our environment. Not just the environment, even us. For instance, an area like healthcare or medical sensors and actuators can monitor us and our senses, and then can make decisions for our well-being and so on. Well-being is a good part of it, but on the other side, even decisions for us and about us. So that's on the other side. What I believe more, and in fact, like most, a number of researchers believe, is that the second one, Internet of Things, so these sensors and that collect data and then use AI to make, or machine learning to make decisions, and use these decisions to drive the future, is more likely than humanoid robots coming and doing what the movies envision. So that's where we are right now. It doesn't mean like the humanoid robots are not possible. However, the more happening already is the IoT side of it. So that's just to give you an idea about all the IoT and AI, how they come together, how they can work together, and what is already happening in terms of AI and IoT together. So that's like a background and what's happening around the world. But let me take a little while or some time to explain the type of projects that we are doing here at Veradeniya. And these projects are happening for about now 15 years. And there are hundreds, in fact, like if I'm right, we have about more than 300 students worked on these projects, and about 50 odd different researchers get involved. And I'm going to just highlight a few, and I might name only a few, but a lot of people worked on these projects over the years. So the idea of sharing these projects to you all right now is for you all to get some idea on how you can work on similar projects. So now this is to show you what we have been doing. And next, in the next topic, I'll also cover the new trends and the current trends, and how we can take it forward, take these ideas and the projects forward. So almost all the projects I'm going to list are coming from a lab called Embedded Systems and Computer Architecture Lab It was formed, like I said, about 15 years ago, or more than 15 years ago, actually. And the projects are listed under that lab. So one of the projects that we started about 5 years ago and has gone several iterations by now is this project called Swarm Robotics or Swarm Robots. The idea, and also it has, as you can see, a couple of publications already out and a few more on the way. And in addition to publications on the research side, this project helped us build a platform that can be used by a lot of researchers in various different areas and applications, research areas and applications, that is. So just to give you an idea what this project is about, this is we lot of students together build these robots from ground up. So what these robots does, they can communicate with each other, swarm in the swarm fashion, meaning like they communicate with the closer one, the one that are around one. And these robots can basically follow algorithms, agent-based algorithms and so on, multi-agent-based algorithms. So what we have built in this platform is something that the robots are physical, that are there in a lab, in a room, but we can program them and also try out our programs remotely through a web interface. So the web interface is connected through a controller there on the test bed, and from there we can control them, and therefore we can try out different ideas and algorithms. At the same time, recently we also have extended this platform so that the platform can work in what is known as a mixed reality, or like a augmented reality fashion. The idea being you can have these physical robots on the platform, but in our virtual, so in the physical platform we can have the physical robots, the ones that we build, and they are there. And at the same time, on a virtual platform, like on the software side, we can have both. We can obviously see the physical robots through cameras, but at the same time, we also can put some virtual robots on to the platform. And then we can make the physical robots and the virtual robots to interact with each other. So one is in the virtual world, the other one is in the physical world. How do they interact with each other? How the physics of the virtual world works with the physics of the real world, and the challenges around them are interesting problems to solve. So we are working on, in fact, like the second publication that's listed there is initial take on this, the mixed platform or mixed reality platform. So that's just one project. And by now, I think about 30 or 40 students and researchers have worked on this on various levels, including building these platforms, doing research on them, trying out different algorithms and so on. Another project that we are working on is on in agriculture, particularly in the area of smart greenhouse automation. Again, there is one publication from PLA, so that's like a journal. And so this project is we are working on this project from with the agriculture faculty, and particularly a center called Agriculture Biotechnology Center at the university. So they have these things called polytunnels and various other places where they control and try various techniques for crop growth and other checking environmental factors and so on. So we have built IoT devices that can analyze them, basically capture this information, analyze them, and also at the same time control the environment through various actuators and sprayers and various other things. So in fact, like we are working on this project again for about a few years, at least 3 or 4 years. And here is a publication on that. So that's on smart agriculture, or smart greenhouse automation is the title there. So there are many other projects in similar areas. Here is one other on this is a smart glove. There are multiple projects around it. We have built one for, as you can see, one is for this sign language, which is like not like a real research project, but just like a building devices type of a project. And then we took that or similar glove and worked on other projects like remote training. Can be hand training, things like operating or doing other activities using finger movements. Can the like these gloves identify the movements and help the trainee on by giving feedback or send these the trainees actions to a expert remotely and use the expert's opinion to improve training. So this is areas where we work across multiple disciplines, things like dental sciences, medicine, and so on. Here is another more of a fun type of a project. In fact, like this project was done during the COVID pandemic, where we wanted to have again a trainer, but in this case, or a tutor, but in this case for keyboard or piano. So that's a device. The piano is in one place, and then the trainer, like the tutor, is a device that can be connected and help to do training of keyboard or piano. More projects on. So here is one called CopMate, which is built. In fact, like this is not a research project as such, but more of a making of a product. But then we can use this product to collect data and do more research and improvements of algorithms and various other things. I'll give some more detailed example a little later. So here's one where you can use this the vision and in this case things like the object detection and avoidance and all that to see whether somebody's breaking the road rules. So this is what the one I wanted to tell you a little more detail. So here is one where we are using the I was earlier talking about when I mentioned about human sensors. I was talking about things like this, where we can use sensors on human body to identify human vitals, things like the heartbeat, the brain signals, using various different sensors in the area like medical type. So we use these sensors to identify different or do various different projects. One of the projects that we did is called the human emotion recognition. The idea is to use the ECG or EEG in this case to identify human emotion. So how do we do it? Is by analyzing the signals and then coming up with smart algorithms to identify human emotions correctly. So now that we are in the era of artificial intelligence and we talking about generative AI and all that, the AI being not emotional. However, here are projects where we are training AI to identify emotions, not to be emotional, obviously, but to identify human emotion. And then why do we do projects like this is in this particular example, what we are trying to do was to use this human emotion to connect to a game. So in fact, like this was connected to this human emotion detector was connected to a first person shooter game, a simple game where the game's difficulty level is controlled by or changed by human emotion. Say you are a player and you are feeling sad, then the game's difficulty level changes accordingly to make you happy or make the environment different and so on. And also if you are feeling challenged, we can make the game more difficult and make it interesting and engaging for the player. So that's just one application of what That is where we started, but then we figured that by using the techniques we learned, the emotion recognition techniques we learned, particularly related to machine learning, we use this idea called ensemble learning, where you combine multiple machine learning techniques. And using these techniques, we were able to identify emotions better than the state of the art, better than what it was already there. And that is what was published in that paper that is listed, the first paper. But we keep on working on this area further. And later, we also have done a few projects which are not published yet on recognizing emotions of other beings, things like animals, like dog. So can we identify the emotions of dogs? In fact, like there are some literature that's done on this area where we can use emotions of dog to identify whether they are sick, what sickness they have, whether they are happy, sad, or different things. So that's a project like that. So a project like this where we have done a lot of different stages, things like collecting this data, which is a challenge at the beginning, but then when you collect enough data and train a proper model, then doing it real time, how challenging it is to do real time, how fast the devices you need, and how about the disturbances that you get, like noise that you get, how you can avoid them. So there's enough and more interesting engineering and like computer science challenges that are there to solve in a problem like this, from building the device up to coming up with the best algorithm possible, combining multiple different algorithms together to come up with a real useful product at the end. So there's enough different type of challenges along the way in projects like this.
Sir, you are muted.
Sorry about that. I pressed the wrong button. Yeah, okay. I hope that's okay, right? Yeah. So am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Right. So I'm jumping between agriculture and now went to human and human emotion. I'm on medical side and then coming back to healthcare and coming back to agriculture again. So here is one, this is like again a research project where it's a bit outdated now. I mean, it was done a few years ago. The idea here is it's on precision agriculture. Can we use in this example, unmanned aerial vehicles to identify targets and do things like precision agriculture? Can we go and find weeds and spray weedicides to particular areas? And in fact, like this project also had other applications like search and rescue in a plane crash, for instance. Can we go and identify whether there are people, whether there are valuables, things like that. So, but then particularly this particular work is on precision agriculture. So in fact, like there are more projects we are doing on precision agriculture now with our agriculture faculty, although there's no paper right now, so I haven't included that here. But there are projects we are working on here on paddy and other crops. So here is another one where we have not done a lot of research on this, but we have built some devices and also platforms where a wearable like a smartwatch. But the difference here is this watch also has, or the set of watches also has connection to a platform where you can put or monitor, for instance, a ward in a hospital, right? So where the patients are all wearing this, and then they are put onto the information is put onto a dashboard where you can monitor, like a healthcare professional or health provider can monitor all that in real time. So we in fact have some data on this, and we wanted to work on analyzing the data and do more, but this here is just the device itself, not much research as per se. So here is a research project where we are working with another Australian research institution on a wearable So this is coming under the wearable or material like clothes. So this particular project is on a T-shirt that you can wear, and the T-shirt can monitor your heart rate, for instance, and your breathing, respiratory rate. So use those to identify certain type of sicknesses like sleep-related disorders and other sicknesses that you can detect. So this is a project that was done in Sydney, Australia. But an extension to this project is one that we are doing right now these days. The project is on how we can improve the efficacy of the devices and the algorithm that are there on this device, this clothes. So we have these devices, but the problem, the challenges are to make it as power efficient as possible, so that we can run. Obviously, they are running on battery, so they run for longer period. Or can we use even other power sources like body heat and like if you are going outside, things like solar and so on. How we can reduce one the power usage, and obviously the other one is usage. When we say power usage, it means using less memory, using simple algorithm, all that reduce the power consumption. So we, in fact, have come up with some low complex algorithms and for these devices, and which is being written. Actually, it's submitted to a like a journal for publication. It's on the way. So another area which is which is with a lot of data is the genomics area. We have been doing work on genomics, particularly here on mobile genomics. Genomics is, as you know, like genome sequences. Now there are what is known as the next generation genome sequencers that does sequencing very fast, and they do sequencing on the go. So you can take a small sequencer, a portable device that you can take anywhere you want, battery operated, and then you can just put a sample and get genome sequences recorded to a device. So this is in a 24-hour span, they can generate about a terabyte of data. Now the challenge that they have is how you can analyze this data. How long it takes to analyze this data, or the devices themselves are not powerful enough and they don't have best algorithms to analyze them. So what usually they are doing is they are taking the data back to a supercomputer, or they send the data through internet or through some other means to a faster computer where this are analyzed. So what we are interested in working on is to improve, make them faster, make this data processing efficient through machine learning and not, or both ways. And one of the things that we had done and got reasonably popular in about like during COVID time was we were able to build a mobile app. The mobile app has it's a network app, meaning like 5-6 mobile phones together, or 110-20 mobile phones together in the area. So let's say we are going for a test, COVID test, and the sample is put onto the sequencer. The data is taken from there, and the mobile devices around there. The mobile app, which is a distributed app that can divide the work and do the computation and tell us whether this sample has COVID or not. So we were able to do it on a COVID sample, and the paper was published by Nature's Communication Biology. And we also had done other work recently after that on improving some parts of the sequencing algorithm using better machine learning models. So here are some more projects. These are not directly related to the SQL lab I mentioned, but projects that are happening here in Perajaniya. Projects on AI-powered fetal monitoring. So a wearable that can monitor fetal, basically. There are more projects on human motion classification. Can we identify human like when they are walking? The way depends on the way how they are walking, the challenges the person faces, and remedies for those. So we're working on projects like that here in Peradeniya. And recently, we are also working on more projects on things like this digital twin, which is a new project that we are working recently. Is basically having, so like I hope you understand, you have an idea on this concept called digital twin. The idea of digital twin is we have a real system and you have a virtual system which is built similar to the real system, and therefore you can simulate the real world settings in the simulated environment. And therefore I mean, it's not possible to do everything in real world situation faster, quick, as soon as we want, and some things we don't want to try unless we know it works. And therefore the concept of digital twins help improve that, improve the whole process. So that is something that we are doing. And I actually, like I mentioned about this crop related one earlier when I mentioned about some agriculture related projects. So that's the one that's listed here. So those are the type of projects we are doing related to IoT or Internet of Things, things that are like all these sensors. I haven't gone into specific devices that are used and so on. But then in every one of these situations, there are a lot of different devices used. They collect data, they sense, and then we use this data to either come up with a machine learning based model or some other way of AI, and or rule-based systems, different ways to make decisions, and those decisions are pushed back to the system so the system can do things better. So that's the different type of projects we are doing. And next, I'll jump into the IoT trends. So all what I discussed up to now are the projects that we are already doing. And some of them are like obviously at the cutting edge, what that's happening. But I'll take a step back and tell you more about the overall trend. So therefore, it's easier for you to not to limit yourself to the project that we are doing, but to look at the big picture and think about other solutions and other problems and solutions in the same area. I mean, like IoT AI. So first, I'll start with some generic trends, not specifically technology specific, but to give you a broader background. And then I'll go into some technology specific trends. So broader, this is not something new. Smart of everything is coming. Things like smart homes, smart cities, smart campus, right? So meaning like, what do they mean? They basically mean they do things on their own. They make decisions on their own for us, right? A smart home, for instance, if a home can figure out that let's say I'm in a smart home, if the smart home can, starting from, a home can figure out when to wake me up if I'm sleeping, right? So let's say I had to wake up around morning around 4 o'clock, but the home decide when exactly to wake me. Not exactly at 4 o'clock, because at 4 o'clock I might be not in the right sleep cycle to wake me up quickly. So maybe it will wait for 5-10 minutes, wait for me to come to the right sleep cycle and wake me up. So starting from there, can the home then heat water, make tea, whatever, right? So just, I hope you get the idea. So can things like it automatically happen, not just in a home, but obviously larger scale, things like campus, city, country, and so on. So that a lot of these are now happening. They are no longer just concept, and many countries are taking the lead. Countries closer to us, places like Singapore and China are doing a lot on this. I'm sure you'll be listening and looking at those ideas, and you can get a large number of different ideas from these and work on one or two of them and improve and implement and also improve them. That is the whole idea of research. We're talking about research here, and therefore see how we can improve. So not just these devices, usually the IoT devices are more, it used to be consumer oriented earlier, meaning like individual users, they help people, individual people. But it's no longer the case. Now it's also becoming, in the new trends, it's also becoming an industry oriented thing. Meaning now can these IoT devices with the AI technology go and help industries to grow, industries to change the way how they do day-to-day operations, things like transportation, agriculture. I'm sure you are hearing stories and like news articles, news posts, news items, and so on various different places where these things are coming into picture: logistics, delivery, transportation, and whatnot. Right. So all these places, they are coming big. Another area that taking a lot of lead is healthcare. So healthcare is one of the places where IoT and now AI, artificial intelligence and decision making are changing the way how healthcare works. And there are a lot being done and a lot of data collected. And there is a lot there. It's possible to do a lot of work in this area. In fact, like there are a couple of projects we are working which still doesn't have publication and therefore are not included on areas like dental sciences, medicine, and so on. So technology-wise, what are the new trends? One is edge computing. Edge computing is not a very new idea, but a new idea in the area of what is known as cloud computing. Right. So now that there are these IoT devices, the devices that collect data from all over the place. Now, if you want to make decisions on this data, you don't make decisions at the place where they are collected, because when you want to make decisions, you first need to collect enough data and have the data put together in some place so that you can train the AI or the machine learning models. So usually the traditional approach is to take all this data, take them to a common place like a cloud server where this training happens. But now the new trend is also to have not to send all the data to the common server like a cloud server for various reasons. One is obviously sending all these to a common place. Sending it is expensive. It's going to consume power. It's going to consume time and all that. So, and the main other concern is if you're sending all this data to a common server, depends on where the server is, because these are all internet. We might also be violating, or might also be concerned about the data privacy. If the data is collected, let's say the data is collected in a room and that is sent across to another country, who is in this room, their data, maybe it's not safe, and also it's not their privacy is going to be violated. So therefore, with all these reasons, edge computing is coming into picture. One is on the computing side, efficiency, and the other is on the privacy side. Edge computing, what it does is now in the lower level, like not at the cloud, not everything put together, but few sensors and data collected together, can we keep at that level and do some processing, decision making for those. With edge computing, the term intelligent edge, now that AI is into the picture, intelligent edge is picking up. So there's basically the idea is to have AI decision making done at the lower level, at the edge level. Let's say if it's like a smart home network, you decide things at the home, not send the data out to make decisions. Right, so these are becoming more and more concerning of the privacy issues, and also obviously of the computing efficiency issues, and therefore intelligent edge or edge computing is one technological area where there's a lot of work happening and a lot of breakthrough happening. One other area that is, I mean, I have already mentioned this many times, but machine learning and artificial intelligence together, there's a lot of data now. So with this data, in fact, like the estimate is by next year, we'll have 75 billion IoT devices, right? So several devices per person even. So with this, the data collected, like I was saying at the introductory part, the amount of data that is collected can be used to do a lot of work, and therefore there is enough and more work related to data, and obviously for machine learning and improving on those. One other area with all this automation that is happening, smart home, smart factories, smart campus, smart city, and so on, is what do we do when we put all these devices smart, and then if they take care of us, who is going to take care of them? Meaning, like, how are we going to fix if there's a problem in one of these devices? So predictive maintenance is one area that is picking up. There are a lot of work done in this area. So can these devices self-diagnose? Use some AI algorithms to figure out what's going on among them within the devices. Even self-driving car, can those cars diagnose themselves and say, okay, something is going to fail after 6 months or 2 months, and we have to fix them and change them and so on. So, and with all this smart logistics planning and various other aspects, can also go beyond this AI devices or AI algorithm, go beyond and also order for these items and ship them and so on. So it can all this be connected. That's in the predictive maintenance area. So those are the new trends, and there are like generic, a few generic trends, and also specifically technology related. So we can, for you to understand the big picture, look at the generic trends, and for you to do a project, find a research problem, you have to go and look at each technological one, and you have to pick which one you prefer most and which one you think you like, and you have to work on that. So before I close, I'll spend a couple of minutes on generative AI. That's a topic of today, and therefore it's there. The very first video I was playing about this AI pin is a technology where the IoT, these devices which are connected to the internet. In fact, like these devices, you can go and buy now, and they are in the market. And each one of these devices, it looks like they are in the market only in the US. And these devices are connected to, they are like phones, and therefore they are connected to the phone network, and they have internet. And so these devices, they talk to each other, like they can make, like not only just to other devices, similar other devices, but they also talk to other sensors and other devices where their data is available and the APIs are accessible and so on. And the other interesting part is these ones are already connected to some large language models like ChatGPT, GPT-4, and so on. When they are connected, they can do more things. Okay, that is what you saw in that first video. I'll skip this time. Here is another one. So this is not exactly like a IoT device, but it has some features because it has sensors, it has like actuators and so on. So here is another robo, a little bit cheaper than the previous one.
Meet Lou, the device that brings your smartphone to life, elevating your desktop experience to a whole new level. Making full use of your smartphone's hardware and our built-in sensors, Louie can fully sense his surroundings. Sometimes he's a bit mischievous, but he knows where the boundaries are. If he oversteps, let him know. Hey, Louie, take a break. Besides interacting with you, Louie also enjoys some occasional alone time. You can try grabbing Louie's attention, but don't provoke him, or he will fight back. You can ask Louie to tell you a joke. The ChatGPT generated jokes never repeat. Or just relax and enjoy time with your new gaming buddy. With Louie, you'll discover countless precious moments you might have missed in the past. He'll automatically select the best angle and capture the memory. Plus, he's very responsive to hand gestures. Louie transforms into a wireless charger for your phone when you're concentrating on other stuffs. It keeps reminding you of important information. Sometimes Louie can get a little scared. Comfort him with a gentle touch to make him feel safe and secure. With Louie, remote interaction with your loved ones is now possible. You can remote control Louie and explore the world from his perspective. And even send animations with hand gestures. All your precious ephemeral moments are now kept by him. Every interaction makes Louis more attuned to you. Ultimately, each Louis becomes unique to you. Hey, Louis, I guess we'll be stuck here for a bit longer. With our advanced biomimetic behavior engine and ChatGPT integration, Louis promises endless, delightful interactions that keep you engaged. He's a whimsical little desktop robot, remote avatar, gaming companion, wireless charger, and more. Your phone has always had a soul. It's now time to give it a body. Say hello to Louis.
So that's a very, I wanted to show this video because it's a very simple idea. You have, it's a mobile application basically, but then on top of it, they have put a small body, right? So which is actually an IoT device because it has some sensors, it has motors to move around. And then the communication happens between the application through the mobile phone to the body. And then it can, the next part of it is with the generative AI, like ChatGPT, it's connected to the GPT engine, and therefore it can also interact, have the another support. Right, so all these put together, and this is a Kickstarter project started recently, and apparently they are going to start shipping the products by August this year. But those who are interested in doing a project like this can also be, it can be an interesting project to try. So those are a couple of IoT and generative AI, because we are in the generative AI era, how we can connect them together basically. So future IoT is going to be everywhere, and wherever IoT is, there are going to be data, so machine learning, and therefore AI. So they are going to be all connected together. And like I said at the very beginning, they are going to have enough and more opportunities, and obviously more than that, more challenges. So with challenges comes interesting research, and therefore I believe that there will be a lot and more research opportunities in this area for you to try and explore. So that's where I want to stop. But I also have received a number of questions from you all. I can answer them after listening to your live questions if you have any questions. Questions? Live questions?
Yeah, audience, you can unmute and ask your questions.
So while you are getting ready with your questions, let me see whether I can answer some of these. I think I already gave answers to a decent number of these questions, but let me just try again, or try now. I mean, I gave answers during my presentation. So one is about, the first one is, are there any big worries about privacy or security as IoT and AI get more popular? What should we do about them? Yes, you do more research and come up with solutions. The first thing is the question, are there worries? Yes, both on privacy and also on security. Privacy is about the privacy of data of people, and security is whether they are, when we let these things, so the AI to make decisions, what happens if the decisions go wrong, or what if somebody else take control of making those decisions without you even knowing, right? So even now there are a lot more happening. It's more philosophical, therefore I won't go into all the discussion. For instance, areas like who are making these decisions, who have all this data that is collected in a bigger scale on devices like generative AI tools and so on. I'll not go into detail. But if you are building IoT AI systems, then these are concerns, and solutions are also being proposed, things like the edge computing I mentioned. So that's an interesting area to research. Second one, can you give examples of how AI is already making new things possible? I already gave examples. What can businesses learn from these examples? Obviously, you can make business out of it. You saw that Kickstarter project, the last one I was showing, they are making a business out of it. They are going to sell those bodies. Mobile phones you have, it's just the body, I think it's somewhere like $150. They're going to sell those. So that you can think of a lot more similar examples and come up with new ideas. It's simple. You have the mobile phone where you can build an app. We all are talking about robots and all are talking about generative AI. Can these things put together? That is that project. Current development, implementation, AI and IoT. I gave some examples from the research side from universities. For third one, fourth one is similar. I'll just AI and I embedded system. So that's again the same. Healthcare, I gave some examples. Can generative AI reduce the adverse effects of effects? The concerns we have in healthcare, so the concerns things like one of the problems in healthcare is the shortage of healthcare workers for a lot of work. So one of the one of the things that you can think of is, can generative AI take care of certain type of jobs in the healthcare sector, and therefore enable the healthcare workers or healthcare professionals to do more healthcare support. So there's a lot of research and studies done on this, and I have some findings as well, but I don't have time to explain all that. The one who asked question, if you are more interested in understanding healthcare, how generative AI can help, I'm happy to discuss offline. You can ask again, but the short answer is yes. How can we ensure security while leveraging AI and IoT to reduce human intervention in decision making? Right. So actually, there is a small reducing human intervention in decision making is not really true. So, what any AI policy or law says is AI decisions are humans' responsibility. So you can't go and blame the AI when a decision is gone wrong. Let's say a self-driving car. When the car go and met with an accident and kill somebody, it's not the AI's responsibility. It's the one, the responsibility has to be with the people who are putting the car out. Same with even simpler things like generative AI. Example, like let's say you are in the university and you are submitting an answer to an assignment, and the answer is coming from generative AI. When you submit the answer, if the answer is wrong and it has some bias, some reason to blame the answer, the blame is not to AI, but the one who produced it. So the responsibility comes back to human. So whenever there is an AI solution, the policy says that a human has to be always in the loop, and the human had to make the decision. So the only thing that we can do is we can release certain amount of work from human so that we get more time to spend quality, our time with higher quality, and therefore we keep the decision making properly with us. Right, so that is what you should do there. What are the innovative ideas can be implemented in mental health using NLP? So there are already a lot of AI bots developed related to mental health or mental health care, which are being used even now for so natural language processing and AI, which is part of AI, for coming up with. So there are even I think the generative AI tools like ChatGPT has specific MyGPTs built on counselors, mental health professionals sort of support. So they are trained on previous data and they work on those models. So you can think of applications of that nature. I keep on going. Stop me if you have your own questions. If not, I'll finish this list and then come back. Feature of AI. Feature. Feature. Skip that. The next one is whether AI is better or traditional one is better. What do I think? Okay, so that's a difficult question. In fact, how, on a serious note, how human race has come up to this point is by embracing technological changes. And the changes has almost all the time had challenges, had negatives, but we human were able to figure out how to keep the challenges or overcome the challenges and keep the negatives aside and come together and work together for the better. So I think AI is one, although AI is a little different, but it's on the same path. And therefore, future with AI, I believe is better for the reasons I explained. How to start studying AI? I hope you have some courses. If not, there are enough online free courses as well in platforms like MOOC platforms. You can look at them, and you have some of the best AI experts or lecturers, professors in the country. Talk to them, get their help. How does AI enhance the capabilities to connected? Okay, that I think that is what I was always talking about all this while. How AI enhances the capabilities of the IoT devices. That's all talk is about. What are the tools that can use for the researchers to increase productivity? Right, okay. I didn't touch upon this area. Things like research productivity particularly related to I believe the question is more on the generative AI side. Can AI or even so generative AI or AI, we can use AI for research in places like data analysis, but now with generative AI we can use it in several other places, like starting from literature review and data analysis and various other application places. You can use generative AI to improve your research productivity. In fact, I'm doing such sessions on how you can use generative AI to improve productivity, research productivity, but another day maybe. So that's so there's a lot we can do. Researchers can use generative AI like tools to improve productivity. There are examples, things like tools that can be used to write, generate, summarize research, and so on. I'll stop that there. If not, there's a lot more I can say. How to market the research things to industry. So research has to come then to the innovation and then entrepreneurship. I hope there are industrialization. So I hope you have some opportunities in the university where you can get this support. But as you can see, the example again, I'll go back to the same example, the the small body of a robot with the mobile phone is an example, right? So what they have done some research, developed the product, and then they have put it onto as you might know, a project called Kickstarter, where you can just go and pitch your idea and ask for money and then start developing. But then here there are enough and more places now, even in Sri Lanka, companies who are looking at small and medium-sized companies who are looking at automating some of their applications, some of their work, so that they can improve their productivity. So you have to identify such problems and go and work with them. There are a few projects we are also working with industries doing those, but I haven't listed them for reasons like the industries. They are industry projects and the details are not public. But yeah, so those projects are possible with the industry, even in the area like IoT, like industrial automation, where AI is involved in decision making. So security one I already answered earlier, so I'll not go into it again. How far the industry expand by this IoT and AI collaboration? Yeah, so like I said, personally, I believe AI data is right now the data has come, the things like generative AI, the data has come from mostly from internet, meaning the data is people's data. So it's like internet data, not the IoT data. The problem with the IoT data is they are machine generated data, and therefore they don't make sense by its own. So we had to have some proper labeling, proper tagging, proper identification, classification. So we had to get involved. We had to make, or human had to make some room to improve the data. And when that happens, then IoT and AI working together and connecting things together, making decisions using those data becomes even easier and faster. But there is a lot more work to be done. It's still it's not given. So there is research, and that is what we all are doing as well. There's a lot more research to be done to make the IoT AI integration, or as we call collaboration, seamless and effective. So there's a lot more to do. So there's more projects, ideas, and research that you can work. Right. So I hope I answered all the questions you had. Right. So let me wind up. Before that, any questions from the live audience?
Guys, if you have any questions, you can just unmute and ask directly from the chat.
It doesn't have to be specifically related to the IoT AI topic, but even anything related to research, if you want to ask, feel free to ask. So the long silence, I believe. Yes. So one question, how to join such kind of projects? So if you are going to do this as one of your official project, then you should talk to your lecturers there, and we can come in and work together. But if you want to just work on these projects on your own, not as part of your your degree, just as a volunteer project, just let me know. I'll connect you to the people who are working on these projects, students and other researchers, myself. We are happy to take anyone interested voluntary basis on any of these projects. So that's one. But then if you are going to claim it to some credit in your university, you should talk to your lecturers first and get them involved. We are happy to work. How to contact me? Okay, so one, what is on the screen is the QR code for my LinkedIn profile. I thought my email address is somewhere there. Okay, anyway, so LinkedIn profile, let's keep it like that. So you can put a message. So there's another question. Is there research ideas for security related with IoT? Yes, things like IoT related cybersecurity. I'm not specifically working on those projects, but then there are some projects some others my colleagues are working on. I'm also supporting them on the IoT side. Cybersecurity, IoT, such projects, or projects related to other type of like network type security where IoT devices are involved. Such projects are there, but I'm not directly working on them. If you are interested in such projects and if you want to know more details, want some contacts, let me know. I can connect. So there's another question. I heard through our Wi-Fi routers can identify how many people near the router. So do you have an idea about that? I mean, is it possible? So the question is, by observing the Wi-Fi access points, whether we'll be able to know how many people are around in that area? Yes, that's possible. In fact, like there are some projects that are done using that idea to like serve better rooms and things like that. Even to control other things. For instance, if you want to control I mean, you don't want to really track people, but you can track devices, right? So basically, that is what the Wi-Fi tracking is. You can track devices, and therefore, based on the devices, you can identify how many people are there. Use that information to, let's say, control temperature, or like control the AC of a room, light of a room. Those things are all possible. There are projects already done. I mean, it's a pretty old idea. Using Wi-Fi access points to identify devices around the particular Wi-Fi access point, not identifying people directly. So such projects are possible. The question is how to protect them, that privacy issue. So if you don't want, in fact, like there are solutions proposed where you can turn off things like broadcasting, then you should be able to just connect to devices by not by using things like, like if an SSID is popping up onto your device, which means they are communicating already, right? So then you should turn off all that and connect to Wi-Fi by manually entering the details. It's possible, technology-wise it's possible, but it's very not convenient. So that is why those are not used. So that's the question regarding Wi-Fi and right. Anything else? Anything more? And thank you, Jayalat, for the comment. I hope we are good. So I know like you all are, most of you are students, and even us, we are mostly stuck with screens and mobile phones, again screens. So here's an opportunity through IoT. You can still be with the internet and connected with people, but go beyond screens, things like that AI pin. Right, so start working on these areas. They are interesting and also challenging, so that you can solve some problems. Thank you for the opportunity. I hope we can wind up.
With that, we hope that's all. And good evening, dear Sir Roshan G. Ragel. On behalf of the IEEE Women in Engineering Student Branch Affinity Group of the University of Jaffna, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to you for your inspiring presentation during our session, and your passion for the subject was shown through in your presentation, and it captivated our audience while providing valuable insights into the transformative potential of combining IoT and AI. And your dedication to sharing knowledge is truly appreciated, and we are grateful for the opportunity to learn from you. And thank you once again for your valuable time and effort contributed towards our event, sir. Please accept this virtual token of appreciation as an indication of our gratitude, and we hope to have the pleasure of welcoming you back for future sessions. And dear attendees, I would like to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt appreciation to each and every one of you for your active participation during our session. Your enthusiasm and curiosity made the session dynamic. And also we invite you to join us for our upcoming sessions in the Igniting Research Passion series. Stay tuned with our WhatsApp group for more details and registration links for each session. Thank you for being an integral part of our event, and we look forward to your continued involvement and contribution as we journey together towards greater knowledge and innovation. So as we came to the end of our second session of our series, it's time to make a memory. So we understand that some of you may not be able to turn on the cameras. That's perfectly okay, but we request you not to leave the meeting until the end. And if you are in a position to turn on the camera, guys, please join us to take us now. Thank you.
We'll wait for a few seconds. Okay, let's go on a count of three. 3, 2, 1, say cheese. Thank you.
Thank you and good night.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful session and accepting our invitation again. Hope to see you in our next sessions. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Yeah. Good night. Right.
Thank you, sir, and good night.